think, one or two losses before this game. The first one I had was on Crossroads Winter, and I actually lost it due to a glitch I've never actually seen before, where basically one of my infantry squads got stuck on a portion of the map. I tried retreating them, and they just got stuck like in between a few fences. And I'm trying to think of I can't think of the other game, but another thing that happened that in that game was that for some reason my vehicles were not turning to attack his vehicles. So I had a Puma that was going up against, I think, a U.S. armored car, and despite constantly telling it to attack it, it wouldn't turn its turret there. In fact, it turned its turret away, which was really annoying. So I've never actually played on this map before. In fact, I don't even remember the name of that it was called. In fact, I'm not going to call it by name, though, I will say. You don't really need to for the most part. But it seems like a bit of a weirdly balanced map. It's got some more of these, like, I guess I would call them like sheds, like mini buildings. It's got two buildings in the middle, but no more, so that's not too bad. I also kind of like these areas here. You can sneak behind here. I don't really like this being here though. This bush though. Yeah, I don't really like the fact that each victory point has a building next to it, so you can just put a machine gun there and camp it. But at least these are smaller buildings, and they're a little bit off. And I think the interesting thing about this game is that this is the first game I ever actually went for a sniper. Because I generally don't go for sniper because they're pretty expensive. They're like 0.5 times more expensive than your average unit. So 240, and this is 360. So I went in there for a split second just to get the vision, to see if anyone was on that point. Didn't know if anyone was in the building, but both of us, for the most part, just ignored this top part initially. Mostly just focused on the middle and the bottom. This map actually does look pretty well mirrored, I will say. Maybe not perfectly mirrored, but pretty well mirrored. So that's kind of the same direction. Yeah, I see here he's kind of grouped up his units a lot. Put machine gun in here. Set this guy up here. He did Molotov that, which is very effective against buildings, or at least units in buildings. And because of that, he was able to push me back immediately. And this is another thing I'll say, like, the fact that this whole thing is this section, I think we can agree that's kind of BS. Like, why does this not count as this, you know? Like, look at this. How does this make any sense? Especially because there's a thing here. You know, that's one thing I will say about Company Hero that doesn't really make sense to me. But I can tell he's gripping up his guys. He's trying to go after my guys here, so I decided to snipe him from behind and basically sandwich him in between my units. He can try to go after the sniper. I can just walk back into my base. Or he can attack up here. And I can just slowly whittle his units away. And he really didn't respond well to the sniper at all. This engineer was really low, and I knew he had guys coming, so I just wanted to cap as many points as I could, like, last second. Did force him to retreat, though. Yeah, sniper was pretty effective here. It didn't even really fight here that much. I decided to attack here because I got sniper coming from the back, and I knew that he wouldn't be able to fight against both these units. Even got another one there. And then I got a grenade off. So yeah, sniper helping with the Grenadiers is doing really well. Now here he did end up chasing me, and I saw that. So I decided to bring him down to this Grenadier squad, get one final shot off, and then retreat. And he went pretty heavy on the machine guns here. He went for the kind of the machine gun strat that is why I don't play on maps with a lot of buildings, that you can just kind of camp them in buildings. There's no real good way to deal with them. The only good way to deal with them is mortars, and you have to have vision of the building first. You can't just barrage the building, which I personally dislike. I feel like you should just be able to barrage the building. Especially because your mortars will reveal themselves when you do that. One thing I will say I really dislike about this map is the bunker placement. Like, this just kind of blocks a lot of the areas that you could build your stuff. Especially since guys will come from here and here. And if you put anything here, I mean, even without building anything, they're blocking the path that, like, goes through here. And speaking of which, this middle area is actually terrible for vehicles, because one or two times my 222 scout car got stuck here. I was constantly telling it to move through, and it did eventually move through, but, like, it would refuse to do so. Unless it had some help. Yeah. Grenade plus sniper crew. Just doing very good there. I even turned my machine gun around to see if I get to kill him at the end. I knew this was likely to happen, but I still had the sniper. I decided to retreat him, but didn't realize there was a guy there, and as a result I lost him. But the sniper did do what he needed to do. He got very good trades. And now with the 222 coming out, I'm decently confident. If I kept the sniper alive, I would have been pretty, like, very confident, because then I would have been able to push back these machine guns semi-well. Maybe not the ones in buildings, but still pretty effective. So I see he has a machine gun there, so I decided to just cap this and then retreat when I've capped it, because I know he's probably going to be moving his guys over here. Which he was. Yep. 222 scout car coming in. Usually I'll go for half track, but I'm trying to get used to the to going for scout car over half track. I think it's more like a meta thing, and I think the reason for that is because the scout car is better, like, much better again compared to half track against other vehicles. But not only that, the half track without the flame upgrade is just better than a half track, and the half track upgrade, despite being very good against infantry, quite a bit better than the scout car, it costs 90 ammunition, and that's quite a lot. And the scout car does semi-well by itself, especially if you can go against a machine gun like this, so this kind of covers any vehicle with the exception of, like, armored cars or tanks, and it also can do well versus infantry, so I'm gonna start probably gonna start going for scout cars a bit more. Yeah, 2 grenadiers versus 2 conscripts. He really wants to make sure that he can't get the machine gun going. At the same time, he's also making it a bit too predictable where he's actually going. I don't remember moving my units like that, I will say. I really wanted to get around that machine gun, but as a result, he made himself very vulnerable to the grenades there, and I was able to push both of them back pretty effectively. And I decided to get a mortar myself so I could start dealing with these machine guns. And he has double gas, and he has a bunch of tank advantages here. He's got T-34 76s, better vehicle rotation, better weapon penetration for them, and then also T70 5% increased armor penetration. And yet, despite all that, he went for this thing, and the big reason you do that is for the 85, but he doesn't get any advantages to 85, so it would make more sense for him to just get a 76. Got a machine gun here. Doesn't fully realize it, so I'm able to push him off the center victory point and actually start to get a triple cap up. Or at least threaten that. But he's sending a lot of units down here. Repairing the scout car. And he has a T70 out at a semi-decent time, maybe a little bit late. Eventually, I was able to get this VP, which is pretty crucial for him. Really wanted to get the machine gun kill. it took was one Faust to damage the engine. Was forced to retreat eventually. Yeah. This is what I was talking about. My guy wasn't even in properly, but yeah, you can see that this covers this whole area, which I don't really like. This also covers this whole area. Now here, I did something really ballsy, which is that I tried to deal more damage to the T70 with my better movement. And pretty much just suicided my 222 for the most part. Got one big hit and then quite a bit of machine gun hit. And I think that might have even been I was about to say a mortar hit, but that was his units. It might have been a friendly fire mortar, actually. Yeah, I'm getting a Puma out. And this Puma is, I think, the big fault of him this game. So Puma's job is primarily to deal with light tanks like the T70. And actually, now I think about it, I was about to say, like, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm probably gonna put it in the title. He loses his T70 and then he builds another one to try to beat the Puma, and that's just a terrible idea to say the least. And he didn't even have any anti-tank to help out. If he had an anti-tank plus T70, then he could maybe set up some kind of trap, and maybe he could get the Puma kill. But basically, he has to hope that my Puma kind of glitches out like it did in that last game, which honestly it was semi-close to doing. I also planted some mines here, just for, you know, extra coverage, especially if he was able to get T-34s out before I was able to get Panzers out. Because something I always keep forgetting is that you don't need Battle Phase 2 for the Puma. So I've got a triple cap about to come up. And he goes super close here. And he has like no vision down here, and my Puma just comes up and surprises him, and I mean there's basically nothing he can do to respond to this. So you see, even with increased armor penetration, I'm just doing so much more damage to him, even body blocking a little bit. Yeah, you see here, right here, I'm constantly clicking on the T70, and the turret's not actually moving towards him, which was really annoying. Managed to get a kill. I had half health remaining, so I knew I needed to retreat before something bad would happen. As long as I kept this alive, he wasn't able to go for another T70. Which no real good player would do anyways, but... And you're about to see why. Now, this one I actually retreated, I think, and it didn't... It just parked up here for whatever reason, which kind of infuriated me. Like, I don't know why it did that at all. Had to retreat to Puma, but I came out with Scout Car to push him back. I think I lost his engineering squad. Yeah, a lot of the time this game he actually got away with just a sliver of health on his last guy. Did get a damage engine, but this is the 222. It's not as important as the Puma. And yeah, he went for another T70, and he's got like nothing left. He's got 3 conscripts, a machine gun that's very damaged. And once I actually realized that it was damage, I put a guy in here. See that he's got no guys in here. I'm like, oh, I can cap and get a triple cap going. And then I see a T70. I'm just like, are you serious, my dude? And it was right when I finished repairing here too. So send the Puma into action, then bring the scout car back to repair. Let's watch his POV for a second. And he still has a damage engine as well. Like, I'm not sure how exactly he got that damage engine, but it really just didn't help at all. And this was even easier. I had like 2/3 of my health still up, and I had Veteran C2 there. And yep, he just ends up conceding it. Only 2 victory points. He had very good veterancy, but he only had 3 conscripts. I had pretty much a little worse, I guess. And machine gun. I did have mortar veterancy, but yeah, the Puma and the scout car just never dealt with this game. And I think the biggest reason for that was that he just stayed on the T70. He tried to go for a second T70, and he didn't get the field gun at all. He didn't get any anti-tank other than the T70, and T70 is not going to do anything against the Puma. So that was a real bad play on his part, and that one play pretty much single-handedly lost him the game. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next replay.